Imagine walking into the gym without eating a single thing. No breakfast, no protein shake, no pre-workout drink. Just you, your body, and an empty stomach. For most people, that sounds like a terrible idea. We've been told our entire lives that food equals energy. No food means no fuel. And without fuel, how could you possibly exercise properly? But here's the strange part. The meal you eat right before a workout is not actually powering that workout. Not in the way most people think. And once you understand why, the whole conversation about fasted exercise starts to look completely different. Because the real question isn't whether you ate 30 minutes ago. The real question is where your body actually gets energy from in the first place. Your body stores energy in two main forms. The first one is glycogen. Glycogen is simply glucose stored in your muscles and liver. Think of it as your body's quick-access fuel tank. The average adult stores around 400 to 500 grams of glycogen, which equals roughly 1.600 to 2.000 calories of energy. Depending on your activity level, that supply can last 12 to 24 hours. But that's only the first fuel system. The second one is body fat. And this is where things get interesting. Even a relatively lean person carries tens of thousands of calories stored as fat. That's not just backup energy. That's an enormous fuel reserve. In many cases, enough energy to keep the body functioning for weeks. So if your body has that much energy stored, why do people feel like they need to eat before every workout? Because your metabolism always chooses the easiest fuel first. As long as glycogen is available, your body will keep using it instead of tapping into fat. Not because fat is bad, but because glycogen is faster and easier to access. Now here's where most people misunderstand something important. The food you eat right before a workout doesn't instantly become energy. Digestion doesn't work that fast. When you eat a meal, it can stay in your stomach for 2 to 5 hours before it even moves into the small intestine. After that, nutrients are absorbed gradually over 4 to 12 hours, which means the calories from your breakfast are not immediately available during your morning workout. The energy you're using during that workout mostly comes from stored glycogen and body fat. So why do people feel energized after eating? Because your brain expects fuel. Hormones shift. Your body prepares for incoming calories. You feel alert and ready. But that sensation is not the same thing as actual fuel being used by your muscles. Once you understand this, something interesting happens. You start to wonder what changes if you don't eat before training at all. After about 12 to 16 hours without food, glycogen stores begin to drop. They don't disappear completely, but they're no longer abundant. And when glycogen becomes limited, your body does something remarkable. It adapts. Instead of relying on glucose, it starts tapping into stored fat. Fat cells release fatty acids into the bloodstream. Your liver converts some of that fat into molecules called ketones, which both your muscles and your brain can use as fuel. This ability to switch between burning glucose and burning fat is known as metabolic flexibility. A healthy metabolism should be able to do both. But when people eat constantly throughout the day, the body rarely needs to practice burning fat. So over time, it becomes less efficient at doing it. Fasted exercise forces your metabolism to relearn that ability. And once that switch starts happening again, a few interesting changes occur inside the body. One of the biggest changes involves a hormone called insulin. Insulin's main job is to store nutrients. When insulin levels are high, fat is essentially locked inside fat cells. When insulin drops, that lock opens. During fasted exercise, insulin stays very low. That allows your body to release and burn stored fat much more easily. In fact, multiple studies have shown that aerobic exercise performed in a fasted state can increase fat burning by 20 to 30% compared to exercising after eating. That's not motivation or mindset. That's simply how human physiology works. But fat burning isn't the only thing changing. Another powerful hormone begins rising as well: growth hormone. Growth hormone plays two critical roles in the body. It helps stimulate fat breakdown, and it helps protect muscle tissue. Both fasting and exercise independently increase growth hormone levels. When you combine the two, the effect becomes significantly stronger. Some studies have observed growth hormone levels rising several times above normal during fasted exercise. And this is one of the reasons people are often surprised to find that they don't lose muscle when training fasted. Your body understands that muscle is valuable. It helps you move, work, and survive. So when energy becomes limited, your biology tries to preserve muscle while pulling energy from fat. But something else happens during fasted training that many people notice right away: mental clarity. Many people report feeling more focused, more alert, and mentally sharper when they exercise on an empty stomach. This isn't just imagination. When fasting begins, the liver produces ketones from fat. Ketones can cross the blood-brain barrier and provide efficient fuel directly to the brain. Fasting and exercise also increase a protein called BDNF, which supports brain health, memory, and learning. At the same time, the body releases more norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter that increases alertness and focus. All of this creates a mental state that many people describe as calm, sharp, and energized. And there's a deeper reason this feels natural. For most of human history, people didn't have constant access to food. Our ancestors didn't wake up, eat breakfast, and then decide if they had enough energy to move. They woke up hungry, and they had to move first in order to find food. Hunting, gathering, traveling long distances. All of that happened before eating. If the human body became weak and foggy without food, our species would not have survived. Instead, evolution favored people who became more alert and capable when food was scarce. Your body still carries that programming today. But here's something important to understand. Not every type of exercise works the same way during fasting. Low to moderate intensity exercise usually works best. Things like brisk walking, light jogging, easy cycling, or steady swimming. These activities rely heavily on fat for fuel, which makes them well suited for fasted training. High-intensity workouts are different. Sprinting, HIIT training, or maximum effort exercise rely much more on glycogen. When glycogen levels are already lower from fasting, performance can feel weaker at first. However, research shows that after a few weeks of adaptation, many people regain their ability to perform intense workouts even while training fasted. The key is gradual adaptation. Weight training can also be done in a fasted state. Growth hormone helps protect muscle during the workout itself. But what happens after the workout is important. Resistance training creates tiny tears in muscle fibers. That's how muscle grows stronger. But the repair process requires protein. So if you lift weights while fasting, it's usually a good idea to eat a protein-rich meal within a few hours afterward to support recovery. Now, one important point. Fasted exercise isn't appropriate for everyone. People who are pregnant or breastfeeding should avoid it. Anyone with a history of eating disorders should approach fasting carefully with professional guidance. And people with certain medical conditions, especially those involving blood sugar regulation, should consult a doctor before trying it. Your body will also give warning signs if something isn't right. Severe dizziness, confusion, extreme weakness, or heart palpitations are signals to stop. Fasted exercise should feel controlled and manageable, not punishing. When done properly, it's simply another way of using the energy your body already stores. Because the truth is, your body was never designed to depend on constant food. It was designed to adapt, to switch fuel sources, to access stored energy when needed. Fasted exercise doesn't create some new superpower. It simply reminds your metabolism how to use the energy that's already there. So the real question becomes simple. Do you always eat before your workouts? Or have you ever tried training on an empty stomach? Because once you understand how your body actually produces energy, the idea might not sound nearly as strange as it did at the beginning.